Hello, friends. So, today we start with chapter 19 Properties of Magnetic Field. Okay, so let's come straight to the point and start with chap. No, let's come back here. So, what are magnets made of? I'm reading this point. Magnets are made of alloys of iron, cobalt, and nickel. Okay, nippermag, an alloy of iron, nickel, aluminium, and titanium, is used to make magnet. We also learned that alnico, a magnetic alloy of aluminium, nickel, and cobalt. Okay, so one thing we observed. Okay, now let's start. Now place, as I say, place a magnet on AB. This is a steel bar AB. Okay, take a bar magnet, place its end, that is north pole, on A end. Okay, good enough. We have placed the north pole A on A magnet. Okay, what next? And drag it towards the B end. Okay, and we drag it towards the B end. Okay, and now what do you have to do? Lift the bar magnet and drag its north end from pole A to B again. Basically, again and again, you go, this north goes from A to B, then A to B, then A to B. Now you will see that steel magnet has developed some magnetism. Okay, but it is of low strength and star and is a really lasts for a really short time. This method is single touch method. Okay, now what you do is take two magnets and now take the opposite pole. So here we have south pole, here we have north pole. Okay, and then you drag these two ends. So south, 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 north, 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 north. Now again some magnetism is induced. This is called double touch. This is called double touch method. The magnetism generated lasts longer. Okay. Now let's come to Earth, a gigantic magnet. Okay. So what is the thing? An observation suggested that magnet always settles in the north-south direction only. Okay, that is its north and south. So he gave a round shape to a naturally occurring magnetic rock. Some rocks have built-in magnetism. They are rare enough, but okay. He suspended this spherical magnet so that it could turn freely and brought the north pole of a bar magnet near it. Okay, the south pole of a bar magnet was attracted to it. So basically, he knew that it was magnetic. Okay. One thing is, the north pole of a freely suspended magnet settles in the direction of geographic north. Now that means, you see, if Earth is a magnet, okay, now let's assume that the north lies in geographic north and the magnetic south lies in the south. But as the observation suggests, the magnet settles in the direction of magnetic north pole. Okay, as you know, as you will see, or as you already know, that different ends of that, similar ends of the magnet, they repel each other. Okay, so what he said, no, near what he proposed, that near the geographic north we have a magnetic south, and near geographic south we have magnetic north. Okay, so as written, south pole of some gigantic magnet must be near the geographic north pole of Earth, and north pole of that magnet near geographic south of Earth. Okay, basically the vice versa scenario. Now come to magnetic needle. Sorry. What you do is take a square cardboard and make a pot filled with water at its center. Now take a magnetic needle. Basically, there should be a cardboard below it. Okay, imagine there is a cardboard below this. So, and the north of the magnet points to the geographic north. Okay. Now let's come to the concept of magnetic field. So now we have to, there are two experiments. One proves existence of magnetic field. So in this experiment, what you do is you take some pins and a bar magnet. Now even at some distance, okay, see this, consider these are the pins and this is the magnet. You see, they are not physically touching, but even then the magnet can attract the iron. Okay, so as I say, the magnet attracts a needle from afar. In other words, a magnet has an effect even at a distance. Okay. Now what you do is, the second part is, take a cardboard, place a magnet in its center and then randomly arrange iron fillings around it. Now once you tap it, you will see something similar to this. Okay. Now what happens is, this was done by British researcher Michael Faraday, and he named these lines going from one end of the bar magnet to the other as magnetic lines of force. Okay. So where do the okay, these are the force lines, and the region around a magnet where the magnetic force acts on an object is called a magnetic field. Okay, basically these lines also have some limit. Okay, this force can pull an object at a range. So where does this force act is called magnetic field. Okay, it is represented by magnetic lines of force. The good thing is, the intensity of the magnetic field at a place can be gauged by the number of lines of force that pass through a unit at that place. One thing is perpendicular to that area. Okay. For example, in this particular cases, there are say 2 magnetic field lines, and in one particular case there are 5 magnetic field lines. So for 5 magnetic field lines, it has more magnetic strength. Okay. So Michael Faraday imagined that there might be invisible lines of force growing from one pole of a magnet to the other, and that magnetic attraction or repulsion might be taking place through the medium of these lines of force. Okay. So one thing is, as I explained, if the lines are low, the intensity is low. If the intensity is high, where lines of force are concentrated, that is, they are more for a particular area. Okay. So let's come to the properties. Okay. So one thing is, these are imaginary connecting lines. Okay. This has been done for our own convenience to explain the phenomenon of magnetic attraction and repulsion. Okay, there may be some field lines, but these lines we cannot see. There are no physical lines that you can observe. They are just drawn to make our understanding of magnetic properties. Okay. So the lines of poles always run from north pole to the south pole. Okay, now south pole can be anywhere. It can be a particular place, or it can be the same magnet, it can be the faraway magnet, but the lines are mainly closed. Okay, similarly for a south magnet, that they terminate at the south pole. Now that the north, they may originate from anywhere. Okay, magnetic lines of force are in state of tension like a stretched spring. Okay, magnetic lines of force repel each other. That is, they never meet. Okay, since they are repelling each other, they tend to have an equilibrium distance where they are as far away as possible. And the fifth point, as I said, they do not intercept each other. And sixth point, we know that the number of magnetic lines determines the strength of a magnetic field. Okay. So in the figure you see that the north pole originates line which terminate here. And some lines terminate here and some lines terminate there. Some lines of this north pole terminate at this south pole, whereas I can imagine that this line would extend to here. Okay, basically any north pole can interact with any south pole. Similarly, you see another case. As you see, when these two are connected, they joined. But when two norths are connected, this also wants to give some line, this also wants to give some line. No one wants to take the magnetic field. So what happens is they both repel, the lines repel each other. And in between there is a neutral zone in which none of the magnetic lines have an effect. Because effectively magnetic lines are zero. Okay, for example, take the place I am highlighting this. Okay, if you place an iron filling there, it won't be attracted simply because there is no magnetic field line to attract it. Okay. Now, as it is said, according to the third property, okay, what was the third property? Then state of tension. According to the third property, the lines of force joining the north and the south pole being in stretched state like a spring, pull the two south poles towards each other. Okay, because they, as I said, a string in tension tends to pull things. Okay, you have seen that in case of the previous chapter that a stretched spring tends to attract. Okay, by fourth property they give rise to repulsion between like poles. What is the fourth property? They repel each other. Now the thing is penetrating ability of magnetic field. Now basically magnetic fields have a large penetrating power. They can penetrate most of the surfaces. Now what you see in that the figure, which are the two procedures, that even if there is a cardboard between the pins and the magnet still attract these pins. Okay, and the second you try this in water, even the magnets, even if they're in the water, the magnetic field is present. Okay, but the thing is its intensity will be much less in water. Now what you do in the third experiment is take water in a big basin, place a bar magnet on a plastic lid and float it on the surface of water. Magnetize a needle or spin. Stick this needle to a piece of thick cardboard by means of sticking tape. Now place the needle to the cardboard. Here the magnet. Observe the direction in which the needle moves. Okay. Now the last thing is metal detector. Okay. You see, metals, as you see, metals can be magnetized. The above experiment was basically meant to show that metals can be magnetized while most of the things are not magnetized. Okay, for example, clothes are not magnetized. You pass a magnet through your clothes and your clothes won't show some magnetic properties. And the best thing is that as you magnetize steel, for instance, that gives a really good magnetic property for some time. Okay, not permanently. For permanent magnetic properties, you have various other options, but steel gets magnetized really easily. Okay, this is an electromagnet. Okay, the concept of electromagnet hasn't been explained. Basically, an electromagnet is whenever you pass electricity, some amount of magnetic field is generated. Okay, this is because electric and magnetic field are closely related to each other, and passing electricity through some internal apparatus, you can generate an electromagnet. Okay, so this metal detector is a case of electromagnet. Okay, you pass electricity through this and it's generate a magnetic field. Okay, now what they do is that, as you know, only much of the metals are attracted by magnet. Okay, so for example, if someone is carrying a gun, it will give a beep alert because magnetic field passes through it. Okay, so metal detectors are used in very important places like this and this. They are used for inspection of persons entering these places. Okay, metal detectors are used to detect very precious articles and also in the food processing industry. Why? To detect if any iron or steel objects are mixed unknowingly. Because it is adulteration, which you have studied in earlier chapters. Okay, so I hope magnetism was cleared. Thank you.